Highness Acharya Mahashraman, spiritual patron, conference leaders, Professors Kothai and Gandhi, esteemed dignitaries in attendance, organizers, guests, and friends. It is my great honor and pleasure to be with you for this elegantly conceived and historically and globally important gathering of saints and scholars devoted to peace in our time. I thank you for your presence here and your efforts, and for the whole of your lives which you lead and conduct sacrificially under a high call and vision for peace. I am genuinely sad that travel difficulties prevented my chance to be with you during these heavenly days when we can forge lifelong relationships that we can use to support each other in our respective work and service. I extend my personal gratitude to Professor Gandhi, who labored so tirelessly to have me be here with you. Professor Kodama, delegates, my responsibility this morning is to address in a brief presentation peace, conflict research, and ancient solutions. My presentation, as it is meant to be brief, is deliberately simple for the sake of clarity, trusting that the complexities implied may be taken up with me by any interested via the many means of communication our present world provides. I translate the term ancient in this topic to mean the contributions by humanity's spiritual traditions, most of which can properly be understood as ancient, some originating in prehistory and others some thousands of years old. Additionally, all viable spiritual traditions take up and offer accounts of origination, both of spiritual and material reality and their interplay. I do take exception to the term in the topic solutions, insisting, without meaning to offend, that it should be quite obvious to all that had any been genuinely found, we would not continue to be so daunted by the ever-presence of conflict, both in our own lives and in the world around us. I have worked in the arena of interreligious relations for decades and have come to the conclusion that not only are religions completely reconcilable as collaboration partners, but even more radically, that among sincere, dedicated, humble, practicing believers, even seemingly insuperable doctrinal barriers are reconcilable. These include some classical doctrines relating to criteria such as creation or lila, linear time versus cyclical time, and afterlife and reincarnation. I believe even these are reconcilable. This is not naivete on my part, that I believe such differences can be harmonized beyond mere platitudes and goodwill, but they can actually be transcended even in the presence of rigorous doctrinal commitments. I introduce this about my thinking at this juncture in order to request that you not be distracted during my few thoughts here by terminology and a sense or inclination toward division. It is my strong view that the great spiritualities of the world truly are one at their deepest level. Can guide a mental frame that can allow us to become ever more deeply in touch with our oneness, undeterred by the nuance of doctrinal differences and commitments. This is not to whitewash difference. It must be examined deeply in the right moments and context. It is important, but to each its proper time. Religions and spiritual traditions provide us with visions of an ideal, harmonious life on earth and eternally. They provide us with the faith that allows us to know these will be, and they activate within us that part of ourselves that chooses the heart, mind, and way that will bring us closer to this vision, moment by moment and day by day. These eschatological horizons, meaning our dream of a future time of peace, that give us our interest and provide us a guide to walk with God, match our own originating framework. They match how we ourselves are built, our core being and origins, and the ends we seek are one. They are the oneness of Alpha and Omega, suspended only by the ripples of Maya or by design to give rise to the joy of self-becoming. Our inner driven trust and resonance with a harmonious ideal and our inner capacity to live sacrificially toward the realization of this ideal lies in that we are formed of the ideal in our essential structure and origin. Our own nature seeks and presses relentlessly to manifest our original nature and our true self. Why is there something? What is the divine intention? The nature of reality and the vision of harmony is the window into the divine intention. Once we are in touch with this, we begin to see God in everything. We begin to live with God. We are within God's will, or the intention or purpose for why there exists any part of creation at all. The second thing religion purports to know about and convey is by what rules does the harmony-infused originating force bring about manifestation of the divine intention. The third, has something gone wrong with this plan somewhere along the line? This question has to do with how each world religion accounts for those realities that are abhorrent to us. How did they get there? What happened? In Christian theology, this is called theodicy. All religions have this account and effort to understand. By what means do we overcome and ultimately transcend the horrors that have disturbed and violate the beauty of divine harmony and unending love, compassion, and care? Said simply, the purpose behind bringing manifest reality into existence. Why was this done? 2, the structure and dynamics that allow for perpetual harmony, beauty, and love. What are these? 3, why does there exist extreme, disgusting, abhorrent violation of God's children in human life and our treatment of the beautiful, defenseless, fragile nature? What went wrong? Religions must guide us and explain how this happened. Finally, what is the way to dissolve, remove, transcend, undo these ugly, vicious, rapacious forces? That religion and spirituality have as its responsibility to attend to these questions and matters is why we should properly have this topic referring to ancient solutions. If we are not okay with the pernicious, toxic qualities of conflict, then we need to know which dimension of human striving is likely to provide for us insights into this type of reality is part of our lives. How did it get there? What is supposed to be there instead? And what is the way and the means to make these horrors no longer in our affairs, plaguing our lives, our relationships, and our delicate, precious nature, the natural world? Religions and spirituality are supposed to provide these insights, and insofar as these make an offering toward the solutions we seek, they are ancient solutions. In my closing few moments, I will introduce very superficially some of the truths that we can find in these ancient solutions and that we can look to begin our walk toward peace more effectively together. 1. Why is there something? What makes the divine act and manifest? The answer to that is love. of the infinite and myriad perfections, names, attributes of God that we can ever ponder and experience, we will never find one greater than love. 2. How does one create the conditions for love to arise and manifest? Response: there must be at least two entities. Love can only exist in a relationship. One cannot love when alone, when there exists nothing to love. Multiplicity exists so that the divine can love and can reveal and show its innermost nature. 2. There is a rule for how multiple entities can exist in harmony or peace or love. That rule is that each entity must be oriented to give more than it is oriented to take. In all relationships, if the entities involved seek to give, there is harmony. If they work to take, there is conflict. This is quite simple. 3. Why is there conflict? What happened that made human beings oriented toward taking and thus creating conflict? What exactly happened? It is the job of religion to get to the bottom of this and to provide the clear and exact path to reverse this. In this lies the ancient solution. Does my religion, does your religion provide this ancient solution? Does it give an exact account of why there is conflict in the world? Many believe their traditions do this, do provide this account and explanation. But if this is true, what is it or what prevents us from simply following that solution? At least we don't follow it well enough. This is where our work lies. Why don't we better adhere to the paths and the information and the instruction, the guidelines and the revelations of our ancient solutions, our own spiritual traditions, so that we are better able to overcome evil and conflict, even when the answers and solutions are presented clearly before us. This is where our work lies. This is where we must turn our attention. And for this, I ask, in conclusion, that we help one another in this particular matter. Let us begin to know one another more deeply and more honestly, and in a spirit of love and care, see how we can help one another find out what is in the way and how we can more faithfully adhere to the ancient solutions that each of our own spiritual traditions and religions provide for us, our families, and our communities. Thank you.